was with some pie.
I was a bridge too far. There's no one in our house family called Bridget, but I read a Bridget Oofer, like Oofer, like Oofart. Gosh.
Others burn them. In rare cases, some steal them. This was the case in 2012 when two men with little...
So, where are we back to again, Slongi?
What?
Which one's that?
West Korea. I'm choosing it China.
Respect for history were arrested for stealing a 100-year-old bridge in China. The bridge was an easy target, as far as stealing an entire bridge goes, because it was surrounded by construction sites and received very little foot traffic. Eventually, one of the bridge's few regulars attempted to stroll over the bridge and found that it no longer existed. A police investigation ensued, and after an eyewitness described seeing the culprits lingering near the bridge with a truck one night, the police were able to track them down. The thieves confessed that they'd used 2 cranes and 2 trucks to pick up and move the 16 huge stone pieces that...
Slongi. Right, so to steal a bridge, you have to pretty much unbuild a bridge, right? Then you have to take it somewhere, and then you build a bridge where you want the bridge to be.
Or you can just pile the bricks up in your house and climb them, then fall over and get crushed by them and die.
But more importantly, this is a non-value added step here, Slongi. Unbuild it to build it somewhere else. How about you just build it somewhere, build a bridge there?
Or just pick up the whole bridge altogether instead of taking it piece by piece.
Why are we stealing bridges, Slongi?
I don't know.
Made up the bridge.
I thought this was a young person thing.
Sat pretty in a billionaire's garden before the thieves were caught. Number 3. You wouldn't steal it.
Turns out we had 2 minutes of video there while them ranting and raving, and then it gave us the answer afterwards. This is why we unpause it at various points when we're not talking. Slongi, if you're going to steal a ship, it's going to be better looking than that.
A ship? Some people just have a taste for the biggest loot. And I don't just...
That's Liam, right there. The biggest loot. That's Liam. Always the biggest loot. Have you ever considered...
Music in the ad. Run, 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 run.
I have absolutely thought about donating eggs. Right? Eggs. Sorry, I was speaking Scottish there. Gosh. One more beer.
Stealing their parents' credit.
So I did think about donating eggs, and then it turns out they don't take eggs from chickens. And I'm like, because I don't have any of my own eggs.
Guards to pay for upgrades on Fortnite. In 2017,
another Liam thing, upgrades on Fortnite.
Somali pirates with tastes on the large side managed to hijack a fully loaded oil tanker. The ship, called the Eris 13, had decided to take a time and fuel-saving shortcut through what's known as the Socotra Gap. They soon regretted the shortcut after their ship got hijacked by local pirates, in a scenario reminiscent...
Pirates!
So, Slongi, we don't judge based on how people look. But just where we paused it there, this is from the movie, and my mental picture of what a pirate looks like, the guy doesn't have a parrot on his shoulder. I don't believe he had a peg leg, because I watched the movie. He didn't say, "Yar." He didn't have a...
Now you're thinking of, like, the old-time pirates.
This is back in 2013?
Not old enough.
Oh, really?
Gotta go a few hundred years back, I think.
Oh, sorry.
Innocent of a certain Tom Hanks found, ransom discussions soon began regarding both the crew and the ship's contents. Once the pirates realized the tanker was under the employ of prominent Somalian businessmen, who Somali pirates...
I absolutely thought, because this happened when, doesn't matter, doesn't matter.
Tussling with, they released the crew and later the ship without ransom, despite being one of the biggest thefts of all time. The payout...
Theft doesn't mean you get to keep it, so it is what he said is true. We're not going to go nonsense on it.
Not yet, at least.
I'm not even going to throw in a butt. I was going to, then I remembered we don't use butts.
That was nothing but deep water for the pirates.
See that guy? he had the same face like this, like that, something like that. Like in every picture, it almost felt like he wasn't under the sea right there.
Number 2, the
Really?
USA's underwater heist.
Whoa,
In
the best heist
1968,
ever.
for reasons still unknown, Soviet submarine K-129 sank 16,000 feet to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, 1,600 miles northwest of Hawaii. At the time, Russian technology was unable to locate or...
So the background is this American technology saying, go deeper, like go to 16,000
I think it's the Russian
feet.
technology not being good enough.
I think it's American technology. This is the worst American technology. Where like, hey, Russian guy on the left, just go a little bit deeper, down the way. He's like, hey boss, I'm at 15,000 feet. I was thinking I was gonna say, get to the chopper.
retrieve the warhead-laden
Underwater?
wreckage, but their Cold War rivals in the USA soon caught wind of the submarine's fate. The Americans
Pearl
weren't going to
Harbor.
miss this opportunity to get their hands on a Soviet submarine laden with potentially useful documentation, not to mention intact nuclear weaponry. To keep things hush-hush, they assigned the CIA, rather than the Navy, to the case. And
The Navy? What this guy just inferred was the Navy would tell the Russians, but the CIA wouldn't tell the Russians? I would imagine they would all tell the Russians. Wouldn't they? Like, they're just groups of people. One of them must like Russia.
1974, within an...
See, before we paused it earlier, it just said 974, and I had such a good, this is nonsense, Slongi. 974 was like 1,000 years before this video was shot.
inflation-adjusted equivalent of $4 billion spent, the CIA had built the Hughes Gomar Explorer. This essentially involved grafting a giant skill crane onto a ship to drag the submarine up to the surface. The procedure wasn't perfect, and parts of the submarine broke off during recovery and sank back down. But the chunk the CIA caught on their expensive fishing trip did indeed contain nuclear torpedoes, as well as some of the sailors' bodies. Inquiries...
Yay, the USS bodies now. Who cares about the torpedoes when you can have bodies?
There's no bodies. Nobody.
about the operation, which was initially presented to the public as nothing more than a manga...
Are these people the public? Who are we presenting to here?
Well, a very small portion of the public, like 6 people.
You counted to 6 quicker than I counted to 4.
Japanese mining operation had a surprising cultural outcome too. Covering the tracks of the operation led to the development of the phrase, neither confirm nor deny.
I dislike people using I can neither confirm nor deny. However, I do appreciate the beauty of I can't confirm that nor say I didn't do it. And so whenever someone says that, I just assume they're denying it, and that's why we have the torture chamber.
Yeah.
This is now known as the Glomar response, after the name of the recovery vessel. Before I reveal the biggest thing ever stolen, there...
Let me guess, it's when Gru stole the moon, right?
I'm thinking it's a collection of eggs on that guy in the left's head. Or the blue monkey. Blue gorilla? Blue ape?
Holding a green car.
Yeah, gosh. I don't know how you come up. What do you think, Slongi? What are they going to steal?
A bunch of eggs in a car being carried by a blue ape, and that guy